Chapter 1: The Cause and Conditions for the Dharma Assembly. Thus have I heard, at one time, that the Blessed One was residing at Jetavana Anathapindada Arama in Sravasti with a great assembly of 1,250 bis. When the time for alms arrived, the Bhagavan donned his Sangati and carrying his patra, entered Sravasti to go on his alms round. After he had sequentially visited each household and completed his alms collection, he returned to his original place of dwelling and took his meal. After finishing his meal, he set aside his Sangati and patra, washed his feet, arranged his seat and sat down. He assumed the Varasana, straightened his body, and focused his mind in Samadhi. The meaning of the Dharma Assembly's cause and conditions. This first section clarifies the circumstances and conditions under which the Dharma Assembly was convened. The Diamond Sutra consists of 32 chapters, and these chapter titles were later added by Prince Xiao Ming of the Liang dynasty, after he translated the original Sanskrit text. In the original Sanskrit version of the Diamond Sutra, these chapter divisions do not exist. However, by organizing the sutra into 32 sections, it became easier for practitioners to recite, study, and systematically integrate its teachings into their practice. The phrase "thus have I heard" is spoken by Ananda, the Buddha's chief attendant and the one responsible for compiling the sutras. After the Buddha's parinirvana, in Buddhist scripture, the 6 elements of authentication must be present in a sutra, thereby confirming its authenticity and legitimacy. This refutes the claim made by some Theravada Buddhist scholars that the Diamond Sutra was not directly spoken by the Buddha. After the parinirvana of the Buddha, his teachings were preserved through oral transmission. To ensure accuracy and preservation, the great arhats convened a series of councils to recite, verify, and codify the teachings. The first, second, and third councils were conducted orally, and it was during the fourth council that the Buddha's words were finally inscribed onto palm leaf manuscripts. The phrase "thus have I heard" originates from these councils, where the arhats recited and authenticated the Buddha's teachings. This expression serves as a seal of authenticity, signifying the legitimacy of the scripture. Jetavana Anathapindada Arama, the place of the teaching. The Bhagavan delivered this teaching at Jetavana Monastery in Sravasti. At that time, Sravasti was the capital city of Kosala, one of the most powerful kingdoms in ancient Jambudvipa, located in what is now Uttar Pradesh, India. Jetavana Monastery was situated about 2 kilometers outside Sravasti, in a tranquil forest retreat. The name Jetavana Anathapindada Arama derives from 2 donors. 1. Prince Yeda, who owned the land. 2. Sudatta Anathapindada, a great lay disciple of the Buddha, who sought to build a monastery for the Buddha and the Sangha. Sudatta wished to purchase the land from Prince Yeda, but the prince mockingly proposed an exorbitant price: cover the entire land with gold coins, and I shall sell it to you. To the prince's astonishment, Sudatta actually brought gold coins and covered the ground. Moved by Sudatta's devotion and generosity, Prince Yeda then donated the trees on the land, completing the establishment of the monastery. As a lay disciple, Sudatta was renowned for his perfection of dana. He not only constructed Jetavana Monastery, but also provided lifelong financial support to the Sangha. Even after giving away his wealth, he continued to devote his life to the Dharma and engaged in practice. The 1,250 bis at the assembly. At Jetavana Monastery, the Bhagavan was accompanied by 1,250 bis. These were fully realized arhats and included 1. The 3 Kasyapa brothers and their 1,000 disciples, who had previously followed the Zoroastrian fire worship tradition before converting to Buddhism. 2.250 additional disciples who had renounced the world to follow the Bhagavan. Every day, from 900 to 1100 am, the Bhagavan and the Sangha would set out for Pindapata. During the alms round, the bis were instructed to beg from 7 households in sequential order. The Bhagavan decreed that alms should be collected in a sequential manner from 7 households each day. The bis adhered to the 1 meal a day rule. The food obtained through Pindapata was divided into 4 parts: 1.14 for the animals around Jetavana Monastery, 2.14 for the sick and young monastics who could not go on alms rounds, 3.14 for beggars and the destitute, 4.14 for personal consumption. The practice of alms was an integral part of the Dharma path, representing simplicity, humility, and renunciation. Through this practice, the Bhagavan exemplified detachment from worldly desires, demonstrating how a true practitioner must live harmoniously with all sentient beings. Thus, this chapter highlights that the teachings of the Diamond Sutra are not mere philosophy, but a direct result of rigorous practice and realization, a path that must be lived, not just studied.